I want to get into more of the madness, the biggest current threat that we know is going on in our food, in our water, and in also packaging, because it's everywhere. It's something we haven't covered enough. I've been aware of it. I've mentioned it some, but we're going to do a detailed breakdown of this for about 20 minutes in the next hour and then take your calls, questions for Dr. Grip. But before we do that, let's do a plug for Deep Cleanse. You did a great one last time you were here. Sold out, like I said, in less than, it was about 2.5 days. I've done the Deep Cleanse. Like even more stuff came out of my skin. Just so healthy, so much energy. Tell folks what's in Deep Cleanse and why it's so important and what it does. The latest product at InfoWarsLife.com. It's back in stock, folks.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a long time in the making, and we talk about the contamination of toxins coming in the body on a regular basis. And today, we're going to be talking about nanotechnology and nanomaterials, basically engineering nanomaterials. And there's not too
It's already in the food.
ways. It's already in the food. And I tell you, this was brought to my attention. I've known about it, too, for a while, but I didn't know the scale of what's been going on, because there's really not a lot of information out there on it, and there's absolutely zero regulations. And I feel, after doing the research that I've done over the past couple weeks, that the whole GMO labeling issue is great. We've come together on that, but at the same time, I think that, you know, all the attention has been brought on the GMO issue, and people don't even know about the engineering nanoparticle technology that's being used in foods. And that's why Deep Cleanse also is so important, because there's not too many things that can eliminate or grab nanoparticles. And when we talk about some of these sources,
we're talking about packaging that's, you know, in the Oreo cookies. We just showed a news article where it's artificially created matter is being put into the flavoring, the packaging to keep it static free. I mean, there's no telling. Notice allergies are exploding, and it's because of stuff like this.
That's right. If anyone remembers Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, this is another prime example of them introducing something before it comes out. Well, Willy Wonka had all these specialty foods. He even had that magic gum where you eat, and all of a sudden you have a tomato soup in your mouth, and then you have roast beef in your mouth, and it goes through ice cream and blueberry pie, and the little girl ate it, and she turned into this, you know, this big blueberry.
And he says that's a side effect.
That is, basically, they introduced this nano food technology back in the Willy Wonka days. So that's exactly what this is designed to do. And not only that, Kraft Foods has been working with nano food engineering to where it's activated with a microwave pulse machine. So in other words, you're going to eat something or activate it with a microwave pulse, and it can take you through flavor profiles. And even they're working on drinks right now to where you get a clear liquid and you can pretty much decide what flavor and what color.
And people will say, oh, I love this gum. It lasts for 5 hours. Yes, but it's totally artificial.
Right.
That's why they add aspartame to every major gum line out there, because, yeah, it lasts for 20 minutes instead of 30 seconds, but it's totally toxic.
It's programmable food when you take the basic structure. So instead of
smart food.
It's smart food. It's just like anything with smart in front of it, you have to immediately throw up a red flag. Like the smart meters. They can monitor you. They can put tell
folks what's in Deep Cleanse, because we're going to come back and break down all this. I know you're hot to get into it, but tell folks what's in Deep Cleanse, because that's what's so exciting.
Well, the main ingredient that I love,
I mean, it's thick, it's oily. This is not your regular cleanse.
Called shilajit, and shilajit comes from the Himalayan mountains. It's a very clean source, and it's really high in fulvic and humic acid. It contains over 80-something minerals. So shilajit is highly effective at detoxifying and remineralizing the body.
We couldn't even put this out for a while because we couldn't get the organic source from the Himalayas.
Yes.
But we finally got it again.
It's almost like the iodine. It's a very unique product. It's really the decomposition of up to 7,000 plants that decompose over a long period of time. And the mountain pressurizes this stuff, and it leaks down in. And during the summertime in the Himalayan mountains, they compress, and this black ooze comes out of the rock, and that's what the shilajit is.
And then we compress it again and concentrate it.
That's right. With our process, we concentrate it, but we also have the zeolites in here, and zeolites are the only compound known that will absorb nanoparticles. I didn't realize how big of an issue this is, but not only nanoparticles, different types of toxic man-made chemicals, phthalates, all this stuff. What I tried to do with Deep Cleanse was put a lymphatic cleansing herb in there, put a liver cleansing herb in there, a blood cleansing herb in there, a couple different ingredients in there. That
they should have called it total cleanse, but deep cleanse is a good name.
Well, deep cleanse because it really has to go deep into the cells, and that's another thing with these nanoparticles. They actually go through the cell wall, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But that's why it's so important to utilize cleansing on a regular basis and make sure you're eating the proper foods, repair your liver, cleanse your blood, all that stuff so you can have the strong body you need moving forward.
InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Dr. Group is our guest. I see you're looking for the camera. The camera you're on is 4. 800-259-9231. It's like being interrogated in here with the lights.
Well, usually you have the red light on over there. So.
Absolutely. Something's different today. We'll be back. Deep Cleanse now available. Thanks for the support.
If I am guilty, I will pay.
All right. We're going to start the next hour and really plow through nanotech and what it's doing. If you're a new listener, we have produced game-changing, I don't know, 2/3 of the InfoWars Life products Dr. Group's developed and manufactured or helped us work with the top laboratories in the country. Like when we go put out a colloidal silver, we consult with him, or when we go and we put out one of our other products, we consult with him. But a lot of the products he himself puts out, and some of the products he doppelgangs and puts out through his company, Global Healing Center, not Deep Cleanse. This is totally proprietary to InfoWarsLife.com. One of the other products that obviously he invented over a decade ago that's used in Hollywood, been written up in national news, is Oxy Powder. What a game changer. Everybody gives this 5-star reviews I've seen. You take this for 6 days at night, flushes out your upper and lower intestine, unlike anything you've ever seen. It is simply amazing. Rob Dew in 1 week lost 12 pounds. He's not in bad shape. Mm-hmm. He plays basketball. He had a scholarship for basketball, in college. He's a good basketball player. He's on, 6'4". And he says he feels like he's a young man again with Super Male Vitality, the X2, and the Oxy Powder. He hadn't done the deep cleanse yet. I have, and it's simply amazing with my lifestyle what it's done. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And before you go today, I'll read a few reviews and go through all the ingredients in it. But stopping there, give us in the 4 minutes we have left a little preview of what is a bigger threat than even GMO, the next level, and how prolific this is. Nanotech in our food. Tell us about this so-called science.
Well, it's called ENMs, Engineered Nano Materials.
Oh, yummy.
And basically, the way that the big companies are looking at this is they can use these nanoparticles to incorporate flavors, compounds, basically anything, plastics, phthalates, metals, to use for flavor enhancement, to use for beverages. So in other words, you can modify food, or for that matter, even create man-made foods. It's kind of a whole nother level than genetically modified foods, because let's say with nanoparticles, you can take the actual carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, put it together to where you can create a food molecularly, because it's working on the atomic and the molecular structure, without having to grow it. In other words, you can do it without sunlight, without soil, and without water.
How loving.
How loving. You're right. But
what's scary for me is reading over this. They even admit, you're showing mainstream articles about it, that there's regulations on GMOs, some on other things. There's nothing. They don't even do studies. They don't even know what it's going to do.
That's the scary part, because there's zero FDA oversight. There's zero USDA oversight.
Imagine what these big eugenics-based companies are going to piggyback and Trojan horse. Every other smart thing they put out really has another agenda. What could the agenda be here?
Well, I have right here from Biobased US that BASF is using it. They're trying to get a patent filed right now. And it says it is more stable, and the killing capacity of the chemical, the herbicide, insecticide, or fungicide, is optimized. So not only
now they're coming out with nanotech fertilizer.
Nanotech fertilizers and pesticides. And get this, Syngenta actually has a product that is available right now, is a nanoparticle formula to grow food in a drought-resistant or a drought
Oh, with their
freaking
chemtrailing.
alien.
Oh, and don't worry. I'm sure they're going to have nanotech baby milk. Your baby will die, but it's loving. No, I mean, it's like now they admit the preemies are all dying getting the vaccines. They just go, fine, we're going to kill them. Loving, liberal, shot, shot. I'm liberal, die. We'll be back. Intro.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
By the way, we had a caller yesterday that mentioned some of his family had a preemie baby. I think you said 6+ months, was fine. But they gave the baby the inoculations, as they do, a few hours after birth, and the baby quit breathing and died. And we've had whistleblower nurses on about how they say, all right, we're being ordered to inoculate all these preemies. Get ready with the respirators, get ready with the defibrillators, and get ready for death. And they go in, they follow orders, they salute, and the injectors go. This is the scientific packaging of slow death, soft kill, just getting us used to, 1 in 50 with autism. Now 1 in 3, they say by 2025. And it's all just done. And the nurses, the doctors, they're compartmentalized. They don't know what's going on. And after a while, they go, hey, everybody dies when we do this, or they almost die. Maybe we should stop this. Well, David Knight did an investigative report with a whistleblower about 6 months ago. I thought we should re-air that today in the 4th hour when Rob Dube and others host the 4th hour today. They should re-air that and tie it in. New Planned Parenthood video shows after birth abortion. Because they're not just getting the babies in the womb now, they're getting them with the vaccines. And so if people have a premium, they need to know they're planning to kill your kid. And we're not joking with rhetoric. Just like we told you they sell their baby parts 20 years ago, and I told you they hold the baby up against the woman while they dissect it. They try to drug her because legally they can get felonies if the baby doesn't touch the woman. It's born now. And now it's a baby, not a fetus. But a lot of these facilities just take them in the back, keep them alive, put them on a breathing apparatus, and then last thing they take's the heart. Because they want to get full dollar for those organs. They want to vivisect them properly. And you notice it's all in the news now. This is just part of what's beneath the surface. Meanwhile, nanotech, please continue, Dr. Group.
Well, yeah, like I said, I mean, this is something that is pretty scary as far as being able to create our own foods and nanoparticles. I did want to mention, though, because as I was doing my research, I wanted to see if there's been any statements by the Environmental Protection Agency for Syngenta, the one that's using nanoparticles in the pesticides and herbicides right now.
Lovicides, not pesticides.
Yeah, or if there's been any feedback from the U.S. government. And actually, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency said a pesticide newly formulated as a nanoemulsion would not require regulatory reexamination since it would not be a new chemical form, nor a significant new use.
But by definition, the whole molecule's been changed.
Exactly.
Holy Toledo.
So this is a stealth way to get very damaging particles into the cell wall, which have been shown in trials, and you can pull this up on PubMed. As a matter of fact, here's an abstract right here.
It goes through the cell wall.
That it goes through the cell wall, and the health complications,
or membrane,
especially damaging to the lungs, the spleen, causes an inflammatory response in the gut, and also an inflammatory response in the body as a general. And
Crohn's-type diseases are epidemic all of a sudden.
Inflammatory diseases are epidemic all of a sudden. Autoimmune diseases are epidemic. So it's just another thing that you need to be aware of and look out for. And even the National Organic Program, we still allow nanoparticles to be used in organic foods.
All right, stay there. The short segments at the end of the hour, the start of the hour. It's the clock we have. It's one of the standard ones. I hate it. Some stations don't even carry this 5 minutes. When we come back, I'm going to shut up for the 12 minutes. I want you to start over, run through it all, then get through your whole analysis because this is so stunningly important. And if you, the viewers and listeners, send out this audio file today from the podcast to your friends and family, or the video link, or the YouTube tonight or tomorrow, it can have a big effect. I mean, so many times what we cover here first Maybe we should try to get the Food Babe, who we promote her stuff, you know, our audience does, get her to go after nanotech as well, because we need to get a chain reaction going here, because this is really the big issue. Dr. Group, stay there. We'll be back.
To stop tyranny? Well, so does he. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
We're talking nanotech, and for a decade or more, it's been in food packaging. It's being put in the foods, but now they're rolling out with completely changed foods that last longer, taste better, have more flavor, and it's just totally untested. And then you've got nanotech also in vaccines. We reported on this years ago what I called brain-eating vaccines. Just like they go, oh, we don't sell baby parts, we sell fetus parts. But only embryos are restricted. The tiny ones you can't sell, the big ones you can. And then they laugh. That's how we play the game. It's the same thing. They go, oh, we have a vaccine for depressed people, for the veterans. And then it's a live engineered nanotech virus. So virus is just information, RNA, that goes in and programs the body. Simply amazing. Yeah, scroll down. We can show TV viewers the actual video. And they just announce it like it's fun. Get your new shot, and you won't be depressed anymore. It's literally a lobotomy that goes in and eats certain parts of your brain. So this is the brave new world we're facing. And I wonder how far they're going to go. Bill Gates talks about nanotech-delivered vaccines. He talks about forced inoculations, nanotech in foods that inoculates you, where the nanotech crystallizes the live pathogen, then dissolves in the body, but can be grown into the crops themselves, pharmacological. Dr. Group, you've got the floor. Then we're going to go to phone calls, the toll-free number for questions for Dr. Group, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Dr. Group, go ahead.
Well, there's really still not a lot of information on this. If you search nano foods or nanoceuticals or nanopesticides, there's really a limited amount of information. So it is something to be aware of, and the best solution that I can come up with is try to avoid any type of packaged and processed foods, even though there is nanoparticles in organic foods. The one that you really want to look out for is going to be titanium dioxide. Zinc oxide in sunscreens, as a matter of fact, is nanoparticleized, and that's causing different types of problems in people. We all know that with the geoengineering and the chemtrails that aluminum nanoparticles are being sprayed in the air. Another reason why you need to continue to detoxify, clean the air in your home, in your office, put some live plants in there, get a good air purification system so at least you're going to be breathing clean air, eating clean food, and drinking clean water. Some of the things that have been documented out there to contain nanoparticles in there are going to be Mentos, the little mint, M&Ms, coffee creamers, chocolate, milk, yogurt, dairy substitutes. I had something happen to me about 2 years ago where I had intense neck and shoulder and headaches for about 2 weeks. And finally I had to start eliminating everything in my diet. And I realized that I was using a certified organic coffee creamer whenever I had a cup of coffee, which is like once every couple of days or something like that. But this was severe pain and stiffness. I could barely even turn my head. I finally realized when I traced it back to the certified organic coffee creamer that it had titanium dioxide in it. And titanium dioxide is used as a whitener. It's also, you know, all the Pop-Tarts out there with the white frosting on it or anything white that they want that white color in. So I would highly recommend everybody look for titanium dioxide on the label. That's probably one of the biggest health concerns out there. And when I realized it, and I actually typed in titanium dioxide toxic online and was able to pull up a whole list of symptoms, fibromyalgia type symptoms. So it kind of led me to believe that, hey, maybe fibromyalgia is caused by toxic chemicals. So anyway, that's one of the pieces of advice I would give to everybody out there is just read the ingredients and look for titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, and be aware of the possibility of nanoparticles in your food, especially if you're using processed, canned, boxed, non-organic food items.
Doc, I'm giving you the floor because you get me so excited I'll interrupt. Keep rolling with all this research you've done.
Well, I mean, that's about it, really. I mean, really, these particles were introduced actually in 1959, so they've slowly been gaining speed, and I think it's just at the time right now where we need to educate people and educate the viewers out there and the listeners to just be aware of this. And also, how do you get these things out of your body? And that's another reason why it's so important to cleanse, because all of these damaging effects.
Let's talk about cleansing, because obviously you designed Deep Cleanse for InfoWarsLife.com. And I want to go over some of the ingredients and go to callers and talk about some of the reviews. But basically, the infomercial won't last more than 5 minutes here. But last time you were here, you also talked about other parts of the cleanse: apple cider vinegar, pure water, sweating more, exercising more. I mean, let's go through a cleanse that people can do even if they don't get Deep Cleanse from InfoWarsLife.com to supercharge things.
Well, one of the easiest and most effective ways to cleanse your body is just water. I mean, water in itself detoxifies you. And I'm not talking about tap water, obviously, but if you get a good purified source of water, add some organic apple cider vinegar to it, you're going to get minerals, you're going to get live enzymes, you're going to get probiotics in the organic apple cider vinegar. You're actually going to get different types of vitamins in organic apple cider vinegar. So that alone is a really good, effective way to kickstart your body. Or if you don't have a lot of money and you want to continue to detoxify yourself, just drink a lot more water, about half your body weight in ounces a day. And if you do that for a period of like 6 or 7 days and drink only that, and that means not consuming any coffee, not consuming any alcohol, not consuming any of the other damaging beverages, then you're going to be able to detoxify your body. And that's why all of the old cultures used to do fasting. They used to do 40-day fasting or 10-day fasting or a week fasting from time to time, just to give their body time to detoxify. Although now we have 1,000-fold more chemicals in our environment than those cultures did way back when. And now we have so many poisons in the air and the food and the water and everything else. So that's one of the good ways. If you do have the money, then I always recommend the first part, damaging part, is the gut. I mean, you really have to focus on cleansing the intestinal tract.
So apple cider vinegar, do the oxy powder cleanse, and then take our Deep Cleanse. And how do you recommend people take the Deep Cleanse?
Well, I recommend starting off slow, following the instructions on the label. You know, you can even start off with a dropper full twice a day, once in the morning on an empty stomach, and then another dropper full in the afternoon. If that causes you to have what's called a Herxheimer reaction or a healing crisis, then I would back off on that amount of dosage, just because you can sometimes pull these chemicals and metals out of the body too fast, and that could cause a headache. It could cause some fatigue. It could cause some muscle
swollen lymph nodes.
Swollen lymph nodes. And, you know, you got to give your body time to detoxify, and that's what, like what you said, sweating. Sweating is a natural detoxification pathway. Respirating.
So if you can even join a club, even if you're not a big exerciser, and get in the steam room for 20 minutes a couple times a week.
Right. Guys have 4 ways to eliminate toxins and chemicals from their body. You sweat them out, you breathe them out when you're doing heavy activity and you're actually respirating, you urinate them out, and you defecate them out. And that's it. That's the only way you're going to be able to get rid of these toxins.
Women have the menstrual cycle, too.
And women have their menstrual cycle, so women actually have 5 ways. So really what you want to do is you want to open up all your elimination routes and start eliminating the sources of the chemicals that are coming into your body. And with the assistance of like the oxy powder in cleansing and neutralizing the toxins in the intestines, the Deep Cleanse, which is going to go into the lymphatic system, the blood system, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, it really is a deep cleanse that's going to happen. And with the components in there, not only are you going to be providing the body with essential minerals and nutrients, but you're also going to be extracting and bonding some of those harmful substances and getting them out of the system. And we know now that some of these chemicals can be stored for 20, 30, 40 years. We've had people that have done the Liver Shield and the liver cleansing program and taken their stones into a had a friend at a college, at a university, and taken them in, and they were analyzed, and they even found like 4 or 5 pieces of gum in there that came out from 20, 30 years ago. So we know that the body actually holds, especially gum sometimes, deep in the tissues. I don't know if those were stored deep in the intestines or if those actually really did come out of the liver, probably the intestines. But we do know now that it does take time. And
sure, the liver cleanse is just absolutely spectacular what it does. We're going to be talking about that again soon. Here's New York. In New York, had this to say as a review of Deep Cleanse. I'm always toxic cleansing. This product in combination with others is a must for me. It couldn't be easier to take. I look forward to it twice a day. Life outlook is so much more positive. This replaces my heavy metal detox. And it goes on, the only bad thing is that I run out of it. I love it. Here's another review by Still Free in Idaho. I don't know any other way than to say I just feel better in general. An overall sense of improved well-being. So I started taking this at the beginning of August. I will be reordering. So thank you for your support, and thank you for checking that out. And again, folks, none of us are perfect. It's a process. I've gone from Job of the Hut levels 5 years ago to, losing almost 70 pounds and having a lot more energy, a lot healthier skin. My mind works a lot better. Makes my temper worse. It seems to be like when I'm kind of in a haze, I'm not that mean. But all the products at InfoWars Life are just amazing, and they help fund our operation as well. We've got 10% off right now, the Secret 12 methylcobalamin, medical grade, high-quality B12 at InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And that does help us launch the TV network, put reporters in the field, and do everything we're doing. So thank you so much for your support. We're going to come back and go to your phone calls and shift gears out of the plugging to Dan, Ernie, Matt, Jim, Peter, and others. But most importantly, support our local AM and FM affiliates, become sponsors, or support their sponsors, and spread the word today.
You've got it. This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are go.
We are go.
All right, you are go.
By the way, Dr. Group during the break was talking to me, and I was like, hey, don't plug Liver Shield that you developed for us. That's been sold out for 4 months. And he goes, no, it's not. The truck is on its way here from his laboratory. And I went out and talked to the guys. They checked the tracking. It'll be here tomorrow. So I'm putting it up on the shopping cart, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com right now. If you want to try to get it again, get the apple cider vinegar that we don't sell, the oxy powder that we do, and do the 6-day cleanse, there's nothing in a week more dramatic. I think X2 probably is the most important of everything. Takes about 2-3 weeks to hit if you have been iodine deficient. This is the true iodine. I'm going to stop plugging there. It's just that Liver Shield is going back up in the next 10 minutes at InfoWarsLife.com as well. Okay, going back to the phone calls, or to the phone calls now. Dan, Ernie, Matt, Jim, Peter, and many others. The toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231. Who do you want to go to first, Dr. Group?
Let's go to Dan in Indiana.
Dan in Indiana, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, guys. Dr. Group, I have a question for you real quick. A few years ago, I was actually diagnosed with skin disorder, vitiligo, and I've changed my diet, gone off wheat, avoiding dairy, and taken a lot of your products, a lot of the vitamin B, B12, the cleanse, the bowel cleanse. Just wondered, in your opinion, if it were you, what you might do to accompany that.
Dr. Group?
Well, usually what I do for skin conditions is I, first of all, clean the intestines with the oxy powder and then use a really good probiotic blend, and it can take a little while to kind of repair the bowel. Of course, eliminate anything that can be damaging. Also, like an ozonated olive oil to put on the skin sometimes work, but also a vitamin D seems to be pretty effective. But you have to be, like what I would do is take about 20,000 IUs a day, and that's the winter sun. Also, iodine is associated with the skin and every single skin cell. So
sure. How is your, let me just interrupt, how is your kind of Michael Jackson disease, as they call it, how has that has that gotten any better since you've been cleansing, or what happened?
Well, I've been dealing with it for probably about 5 years, 5 to 7 years. It kind of came on light and then got worse, progressively worse. But it hasn't gotten any worse since I've been doing this.
Oh, well, hopefully it stopped the progression. Let me just ask my own selfish question. I have a friend named Scott, great musician, famous guy actually. He has that, and the doctor told him he got it about 3 years after he got on Paxil. And they said, no, that's a side effect of Paxil, and he looks like a vampire. I mean, he actually has, you know, like a black pompadour, and he looks kind of handsome. But it's kind of like, man, does this count Dracula? His skin is totally white, and they admitted Paxil did it to him. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that. Yeah, I have heard that different variety of pharmaceuticals can change the melanin-producing compounds within the skin cells. As a matter of fact, there is a company, and I've been looking into it, that actually is selling a powdered melanin. And also, just as a side note, the chaga mushroom is very high in melanin. So another thing I might recommend is that you take a chaga mushroom extract or powder supplement.
Here's an example. When you told me 4 years ago when we were about to get in business together, you said, take my proprietary iodine. It's not out yet, but take it because you've got these aging spots, sunspots on your face. You won't have as many of those. And after about a few months on it, a lot of those went away, 90%, and I get tanner easier now. Before I just burned. I mean, now I can get as dark as a Mexican. I love it. I mean, I love having dark skin. It looks good. It feels good. I enjoy it. I enjoy the sun. But wow, I mean, how did the iodine make my skin get darker?
Well, because iodine's used for every single cell in the body. And when you start providing the nutrients, see, the skin takes a beating because it's the outside. It's the same epithelial tissue as the bowel. And the good thing about it is the inside of the bowel regenerates every 24 hours, and the skin does this, why it flakes off all the time. But if you don't have the proper nutrition coming into your body, because your skin layers start deep, and the deepest layer will ultimately rise to the top. So the cleaner you are and the more nutritious you eat will provide a healthier skin cell to come. So what happened with you is you started regulating your diet, you started eating healthier, you had the iodine, which was balancing out your hormones better, your thyroid was getting balanced out, and your skin cells deep below were getting the iodine to produce everything that they needed to produce, the oils, the melanin. My
skin has gotten
everything
oilier.
like that. So as it came up to the surface, your skin was healthier, and it'll continue to be healthier.
That is one thing. My skin has gotten oilier. It's gotten healthier. But it has gotten oilier. I guess the iodine does that?
Yeah, which is great because the oil is there to protect you from the sun and protect you from...
So instead of putting lotion on, my body's giving me my own. All right, sir, I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Dan. You got a lot of info. I hope you get better. God bless you. Stay with us.